and warm welcome to the 3-day International Conference on Emerging Opportunities and Challenges in Technology 4.0 and Business Models, organized by the Department of Commerce, Finance and Taxation, Bharat Mata College, in association with Indian Accounting Association and Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam. To mark the beginning of this auspicious day, let us evoke the blessings of the divine. I invite Anna and Binusha to lead us into prayer.
സവിധി കൂപ്പുകൈകളുമായിന്നും അണഞ്ഞിടുമ്പോൾ നീ നിൻ കൃപയിന്നിൽ തൂകണമേ. സർവജ്ഞാനത്തിൻ ഉറവിടമാം ദേവാ നീ, നിന്റെ ജ്ഞാനത്താൽ എന്നെ നിറച്ചിടണമേ. ഞാൻ ചെയ്യും കർമ്മങ്ങൾ നിൻ കൃപയാലാകണമേ. എൻ്റെ വീഥികളിൽ നീ ദീപമായിടണേ. ദൈവമേ, ഞാൻ നിൻ സവിധി കൂപ്പുകൈകളുമായിന്നും അണഞ്ഞിടുമ്പോൾ നീ നിൻ കൃപയിന്നിൽ തൂകണമേ. കൃപയിന്നിൽ തൂകണമേ.
I, Ardra Saju, from the Department of Finance and Taxation, deem it an honor to be your host for this inaugural ceremony. This international conference is convened with an objective to understand the constant transformation and strategies of management, commerce, new services, reinventing processes, and to be more responsive towards changes. World is putting more challenges to the market conditions and business processes than ever before. The skill sets required to lead in these challenging times can often seem as complex and multi-layered. And this indeed provides opportunity to academicians and field professionals to network and collaborate for sharing information on best practices and insights about the emerging perspectives, challenges in constantly changing commerce and management environment, sustainability, digital technology, and innovativeness for better future. The lamp is a symbol of the divine light within each one of us, of our higher self that lead us from darkness to light, from ignorance to wisdom. To light the wing of knowledge and let it illumine the gathering, I request our esteemed dignitaries, Professor Dr. Gabriel Simon Tuttle, Professor Dr. M. Thainmuri, Principal Dr. Johnson K.M., Vice Principal Ms. Bini Rani Jose, Head of the Department, Assistant Professor Ansi Anthony, Academic Development Coordinator, Assistant Professor Julie P.J., Joint Convener, Assistant Professor Soumya Verghese, to light the lamp and mark the official inauguration of our 3-day international seminar. As the lamp of knowledge illumines the gathering, let us all pray together for the successful execution of this event. Thank you, dignitaries. The magnanimity of an event is enriched by the people who make it. This international conference, which is a collaborative effort to initiate discussions and actions, is augmented by the honorable dignitaries, participants who have joined us in offline and virtual platforms. May I take this opportunity to invite the thought leader and convener of this conference, Assistant Professor Ansi Anthony, Head of the Department of Finance and Taxation, to welcome this august gathering.
It is not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. Good morning, everyone. These words of Charles Darwin very meaningfully sum up the essence of what we all have gathered here today, for the commerce and managerial trends keep changing from time to time based on dynamic market conditions, and we are undergoing a change more profound and far-reaching. Business are successful as they are made with a great vision backed by strong strategies. These strategies are designed keeping in mind the business situations prevailing in that moment. But we often see that due to changed situation, strategies made have to be redesigned and implemented. The landscape of technology and business model is continuously evolving, and it is imperative for the professionals and the scholars alike to stay abreast of the latest trends, opportunities, and challenges in this dynamic domain. The conference serves as a platform for interdisciplinary exchange where experts, practitioners, and researchers come together to explore and discuss the multifaceted aspects of Technology 4.0 and its impact on business model. So here, we as a team would attempt to facilitate academicians and researchers worldwide to present their research work, expanding knowledge and insight into the significant opportunities and challenges of Technology 4.0 and business model, which is also a very important need of the hour. And so it is with immense pleasure that we extend our warmest welcome to you all to the 3-day international conference on the theme Technology 4.0 and Business Model, Emerging Opportunities and Challenges, organized by Department of Finance and Taxation in association with Indian Accounting Association and Mahatma Gandhi University in a hybrid mode. My first gratitude is to Almighty, whose omnipresence has enabled us to commence this conference with peace. Thank God. Now, coming to my responsibility, I am extremely happy to welcome the manager of the institution, Reverend Father Abraham Olyaprath, for the constantly supporting and motivating us in organizing this conference. I welcome the Father in absentia. I extend a warm welcome to our principal, Dr. Johnson KM, who has been an important value force for this conference and a key person behind the decision taken in this college. I welcome you, sir, to this conference. An ardent orator, a devoted teacher, and a storehouse of knowledge, he has mesmerized scholars and people of varied caliber with his champ all over the globe. One such eminent personality is our resource person, Professor Gabriel Simon Tattils, Professor and the head of the Department of Commerce and Dean Faculty of Commerce, University of Kerala. Dr. Simon Tattils' commitment to academic excellence is evident through his involvement in various institutional roles, including Director of Internal Quality Assurance Cell at the University of Kerala and membership on Advisory Board for Kerala State Higher Education Council and State Quality Assurance Cell. His dedication to research and education has left a lasting impact on the field of commerce. making him a respected figure in academia. We are privileged to have Dr. Gabriel Simon Tuttle as part of our conference, and we eagerly anticipate his valuable contributions and insight. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor, and I wish to extend a warm welcome to you, sir, to this conference. It's my great pleasure to have Professor M. Thainmuri, a distinguished scholar with over 3 decades of academic experience and leadership role at prestigious institutions such as Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, and the National Institute of Security Markets. Professor Thainmuri's remarkable achievements, including being recognized among the top 100 women in finance in India and receiving prestigious fellowships like Fulbright Nehru Visiting Lecture Fellowship, underscore her profound impact in the field of finance and management. With extensive international teaching and research engagement and a wealth of publication in renowned journals, Professor Thainmuri brings a global perspective and unparalleled expertise to our conference. We are honored to have Professor Thainmuri as our esteemed resource person, and we eagerly anticipate her valuable insight on the evolving landscape of technology and finance. I'm extremely privileged to welcome you, ma'am, to this conference. I extend a warm welcome to our dear Assistant Manager, Reverend Father Jimichin Kartanam, who is always with us, a strong pillar of support and motivation. Welcome, dear Father, in his absentia. I would like to welcome our Vice Principal, Ms. Bini Rani Jose, who is guiding force and pillar of strength in our academic journey, who work hand in hand with us. I welcome you, ma'am. Next, let me invite Ms. Julie PJ, Academic Coordinator, to this conference. She is an inevitable part of our department. Her support and vision have always helped our department achieve the highest. Welcome you, ma'am. I extend a warm welcome to Ms. Soumya Verghese, Joint Convener of the conference, for the wholehearted support. Welcome you, ma'am. A knowledge summit such as this needs the support of diverse academicians, faculty members, and research scholars. The institution deems it to be privileged to have been supported by participants and presenters from various colleges in India today. I take this opportunity to welcome you all to this conference. My gratitude and welcome to our sponsors, Vidya Bharati Institutes, for the unwavering support. My heartfelt welcome to all our invited guests, Academic Development Coordinator, heads of the various departments, faculty members, non-teaching staffs, and technical team. Dear colleagues, I kindly appreciate the contribution of all the teachers who have worked hard enough to make this day a success. You are the key people in helping this throughout to design and take this conference to the state that it has been in reality of the day today. I welcome you, teachers. Dear students, your support goes beyond the classroom, reaching into the heart to this conference, and we are truly grateful for the energy and passion you bring to our academic community. Here in this conference, you are playing numerous roles as masters of ceremony, students coordinator, presenters, participants, technical persons, photographers, and so on. My heartfelt welcome to all our cheerful and vibrant students to this conference. Without you, all conference will not be possible. I hope this event will help you to grow and become more productive as well as smarter for a better future. Welcome all. So I sincerely hope you all will have a wonderful day ahead. Looking forward to an intellectual, stimulating, and enjoyable conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I now officially invite our head of the department, Ansi ma'am, to this function. A person who does not set out to be a leader, but becomes a special one by the equality of his action and integrity of his intent. Let me now invite our honorable and dignified principal, Dr. Johnson KM, for the presidential address.
Our distinguished guests and resource persons, Professor Dr. Gabriel Simon Tuttle, Professor M. Tenmuri, our Vice Principal, Ms. Bini Rani Jose, Head of the Department, Professor Nancy Anthony, Academic Coordinator, Professor Julie P.J., Joint Convener, Ms. Soumya Varghese, dear faculty members, dear participants from other institutions, and my dear students, warm good morning to all of you. I take this opportunity, first of all, to congratulate the Department of Commerce, Finance, and Taxation for organizing this very relevant international seminar on developments in technology, Technology 4.0, and business models, emerging opportunities, and challenges. BMC has made national international seminars a part of its culture during the last few years. And very eminent resource persons like Professor Simon Tuttle and Professor Tenmuri have been visiting the campus. And I certainly believe that the seminars and the invited talks which we organize in this institution has a great impact on the students and the faculty in getting to know about the contemporary developments in various disciplines. And this has resulted in various ways in improving the quality of the institution. We have been preparing the four-year UG syllabus, and the insights which we have received for the past 2 years definitely must have gone into the syllabus which we have already prepared, which we will be submitting to the university very soon. And the programs which we are going to offer in this institution from 24-25. We have been able to incorporate the latest developments in each of the disciplines, whether it is science or commerce or arts. And that is why I congratulate the department for taking up this step in organizing this international seminar. My subject is not commerce, but then it's English. But from my commonsensical understanding and from my general knowledge, I understand that we are in the fourth stage of industrial revolution, which was, of course, preceded by, this is a succession of the third industrial revolution, which the world introduced with the introduction of the computers in the 1960s or 70s. And we are at the latest development of internet technologies, and we talk about metaverse and other forms of development in technology and in computers. The business that is happening today is definitely smart business, where we are integrating modern technologies, where industrial production and processing are happening through the network of, we talk about IoT networks or integration of artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, and so on. So the domain of business or technology has completely altered and changed. And business is happening in the digital world, in the augmented space of metaverse, not on the actual ground now. And it is very important that as future technologists and management students, that you come to know about these technologies and the latest developments and the possibilities. Definitely there are also a lot of challenges. And we've been talking about India becoming a a $30 trillion country in 2047. It is estimated that by next year we will join the $5 trillion business, and by the end of this decade we will be joining 10 trillion, and by 2047 we will supersede America and China in business. So it's our responsibility, it's our challenge. That is the challenge that we have. If we can definitely believe the data that is presented by the government. There are many doubts about the data that is being circulated by the central government at the moment. But at the same time, we know that we are developing because we have about 55 crores of people with buying power. So naturally, we will supersede other nations. So this is the challenge that we have. This is to the level that you need to grow up. And therefore, the seminar is very, very important. But there is also another challenge, which is the challenge of climate change. When you talk about business, when you talk about technology, this is also something that you need to keep in your mind. Ethical business, ethical technology. We talk about Anthropocene. Anthropocene is the era in which we live. We started maybe after the first industrial revolution, the 1800s. So during the last 200, 300 years, we have transformed this earth much more than we have transformed this earth from AD 1 to 1800. So we are in a very, very difficult climatic conditions, and we know the kind of changes that are taking place. So this is one challenge which we need to face. So let us do business, but let us develop in technology, but let us also have this ethical point in our mind. And I'm sure that our eminent resource persons will definitely talk about the kind of developments that happen in technology and in business. And as I said, I'm just a layman, but I have been pointing to certain aspects. I wish all the very best to each one of you for this wonderful seminar. I'm sure that this is going to benefit you. Let us take the best out of it. Let us develop a kind of a collaboration among ourselves. And as I always tell you, the seminar should not end with the 3 days here. The dialogue should continue, and the discussion should continue, and the collaboration should continue. And let this be great and a fruitful seminar. I wish all the very best and congratulate the department, the faculty members, and the students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Our international speaker, Dr. Sibi John Francis, founder and chairperson of South African Youth Development Organization, will be joining us on the second day of our conference. But virtually, he is a part of our inaugural function. Let's take a look at the video wall.
From South African Youth Development Organization, South Africa. I would like to extend my greetings to the esteemed individuals, college team members, guests, speakers, and students present in this conference. I want to express my gratitude for putting together such a significant Industry 4.0 conference. Special thanks to the Department of Commerce at Bharata College. The effort and commitment the department put into organizing such a productive and thoughtful event are visible and recognizable. From my perspective, this conference is meant to bring together researchers, students, and professionals from different sectors of the industry. And these levels of gatherings are always helpful for scholars to share their findings and suggestions. So it's important to keep this in mind, particularly for academicians and researchers who are presenting papers. Here is my suggestions. Master students, it is important to unpack the concepts that are in your head and describe them properly. Describe it properly. And for the doctoral students, is anyone doing doctoral students, get all the information, analyze it, develop it, conduct the research again and again, and finally prescribe what should be done now and in the future. These conferences are crucial for the global transformation, and it will definitely be an opportunity for the young commerce scientists to grow and make an impact in this world. My dear scholars and students, find problems. I usually advise here to my students here in South Africa, find problems. Find problems. Then only we can find solutions and opportunities. Once you have identified the challenges that you have on your management in your business, the next step is to try what technologies there are to help you make that management more efficient. Here is the importance of your findings. So especially this conference based on Industry 4.0. So we are looking forward to your participation in a research paper that is of high quality. We are optimistic that this conference will be a beneficial platform for you as a researcher to share your research and receive valuable input from renowned experts and eminent peers. In conclusion, I hope that all participants, students, and the Department of Commerce will successfully run this conference and aid us in creating strong commerce scientists through it. So my wishes and good luck. Hi.
It is my turn to extend a gracious invite to our Vice Principal, Ms. Bini Rani ma'am, whose sense of commitment that create an impact in molding ourselves for the growth of this institution. With immense pleasure, I invite Bini ma'am for the felicitation.
Most respected dignitaries on the dais, delegates from reputed institutions, academic coordinators, HODs, faculty team members, and my dear students. Let me take this opportunity to appreciate and congratulate the Department of Finance and Taxation for pulling on the 3 days of international conference. As we always used to emphasize in every speeches on every talks of the international conference, the objective is knowledge dissemination. The exchange of knowledge happens through such international conferences. We have near around 6 very eminent resource person, industry related, who is turning to our campus to share the viewpoints and the latest trends in technology which is happening around us. And these platforms helps us to update and upgrade our knowledge. Recently knowing what is happening around us is a mandate, is a necessity of the time, which will help you to grow professionally and personally. The Department of Finance and Taxation and the college is providing you with ample opportunities for 3 days. For the coming 3 days, we have many eminent resource persons as well as many delegates from other reputed institutions who is going to share the papers, the viewpoints. So let's utilize the opportunity to the fullest. It's not that we sit back, here are the sessions for all the 3 days. It's about the takeaway which you take along with you, the points which you find as very important, and how to apply it into the practical application in the respective domains you are planning to excel is the question. So utilize and grab the opportunity which is provided you to the fullest. And I'm also happy to see all my final year students who is going to come up with a paper presentation based on their final year project. All the completed projects has been converted into papers with the support of the respective teacher guides, and all my final year students, UG students, are coming up with the paper presentations. Wishing the very best to all the student presenters. Once again, welcoming all the delegates to our reputed institution and wishing best for the Finance and Taxation Department. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those wonderful words. I now invite our Academic Development Coordinator, Assistant Professor Julie PJ, for the felicitation.
Good morning, one and all present here. Respected dignitaries on and off the dais. It's my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the inauguration of the 3-day international conference on Technology 4.0 and Business Models, Emerging Opportunities and Challenges. This gathering marks a significant milestone in our collective journey towards understanding and harnessing the transformative power of technology in shaping the future of businesses. As we stand down at the fourth industrial revolution, characterized by the convergence of digital, physical, and biological technologies, it is imperative for us to explore the profound implications this holds for business across the globe. The theme of the conference underscores the critical need for us to adopt, innovate, and embrace emerging opportunities while navigating the challenges presented by this rapidly evolving landscape. Over the next 3 days, we have the privilege of engaging with leading experts, scholars, and practitioners from diverse fields who will share their insights, experiences, and research findings. Through keynote addresses, panel discussions, and interactive sessions, we aim to foster a dynamic exchange of ideas and perspectives that will enrich our understanding of intricate interplay between technology and business models. Moreover, this conference serves as a platform for forging meaningful collaborations and partnership that drive innovation and create sustainable value in today's interconnected world. By harnessing the power of collective intelligence and collaboration, we can chart a course towards building resilient businesses that thrive amidst uncertainty and disruption. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers, sponsors, and participants for their invaluable contributions, making this event a reality. Together, let us embark on this intellectual journey with curiosity, enthusiasm, and a shared commitment to shaping a future that is not only technologically advanced, but also inclusive and equitable. Once again, I welcome you all to the International Conference on Technology 4.0 and Business Models, and I wish you fruitful deliberations and meaningful connections in the days ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. To spell out the word of thanks and gratitude, I now invite joint convener of this conference, Assistant Professor Soumya Verghese, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Gratitude is the healthiest of all emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you are to have even more to express gratitude for. Good morning to all esteemed guests in and on the dais. I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude and a sense of honor as we conclude the formal inauguration of the 3-day International Conference on Technology 4.0 and Business Models, Emerging Opportunities and Challenges. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. Let me start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making this inaugural session a resounding success. On behalf of the Finance and Taxation Department, I extend my sincere thanks to our esteemed chief guest, Professor Dr. Gabriel Simon Thattil and Professor M. Thenmozhi ma'am. We are truly privileged to have had such eminent personalities amongst us, and their presence has added immense value to our conference today. Professor Dr. Gabriel Simon Thattil, with his vast knowledge and experience, has been an inspiration to us all. We are equally honored to have Professor M. Thenmozhi, whose expertise in management studies is well recognized nationally and internationally. Her insightful perspectives and dedication to the advancement of knowledge have contributed significantly to the academic landscape. We are looking forward to your fruitful sessions. I am grateful to our manager, Father Dr. Abraham Olieburat, in his absence, Principal Professor Dr. Johnson KM, Assistant Manager Father Jimichan Karthanam, and Vice Principal Ms. Binirani Rose for their words of encouragement and never-ending support. Next, I extend my wholehearted gratitude to the academic coordinator, Ms. Julie P.J., the head of the department, Ms. Nancy Anthony, and the faculty members of the Taxation Department, whose dedication and hard work made this event possible. Next, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all the participants, all HODs, sponsors, faculty members of various departments, and non-teaching staff who accepted our invitation and joined us in being as a part of this momentous occasion. Last but not least, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to our dearest students for their outstanding cooperation and unwavering support, without which this event would not have been possible. Let's embark on this journey united, inspired, and ready to create a meaningful impact. Thank you all for being a part of this occasion. Here is a bright and successful future for our endeavors. Finally, I leave you with this inspiring quote by Abdul Kalam. Dreams are not those that come while we are sleeping. They are those that come when you don't sleep before fulfilling them. Once again, thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, we conclude our inaugural ceremony, which would also be a beginning to many more enriching discussions throughout the day. We are about to begin our technical session. Before that, I request all the dignitaries to kindly come forward for the photo session. Audience, please be seated.
Good morning, one and all. Most respected Professor Thenmozhi, other dignitaries who were with me, and my co-presenters, students, scholars, one and all, a very good morning, and I'm happy to be in your midst. I thank Bharata College, Department of Commerce and Finance and Taxation for giving me this opportunity to address you on this theme for two reasons. One, the relevance of the theme, and the other is this is the institution from which I started my career way back in 1989. So I was in the Commerce Department of Bharata College in 1989 after my higher education MCom from Sacred Heart College in Thevara. So now I'm talking to you something about the technology. And there was a reference about the resource person being a person with a wealth of knowledge and vast knowledge and all that. But unfortunately, something that we have learned, or something that you have learned at a point of time, we realize that this is becoming obsolete very fast. So that is where I want you young boys and girls who are students and scholars to understand this fact. And what became irrelevant or disruptive during my times, maybe it took 5 years, 6 years, but now for you it might even become within 1 year. That means you are in your first semester for your BCom or BBA. You learn something which by the time you finish your 6th semester is not there at all. So then what is the relevance of this vast knowledge? That vast knowledge is your capability to transform, your ability to translate, your ability to put it in perspective. So before I start, let me tell you, these seminars or conferences are going to be of value to you only if you are able to transform, translate, take some of this as opportunities in your life. Otherwise, it's just listening. Because in many seminars that we go, we used to ask our delegates, I think Professor Thenmari would also have similar experience, how was the whole seminar? And everybody will say it was very good. And then we'll ask, what happened after that? Nothing happened after that. So we will learn about emerging business opportunities, you learn about technology, and do we actually translate it to our lives, our circumstances, the context in which we are? That is very crucial. Now, I'll just start with some figures which are what you call rather apprehensive or which are rather frightening when we look at the discipline of commerce and management from the Kerala context. When you look at the ordinary universities that we have, like Mahatma Gandhi University or Kerala University and all, we teach many things to students very specifically in commerce and management, which at some point of time we realize that they never do. And I'll start with entrepreneurship. BBA, we talk about entrepreneurship. BCom, we talk about entrepreneurship. How many of them become entrepreneurs? We talk about risk taking and we realize that nobody is willing to take risk. We talk about leadership and we are not seeing that much of leadership coming up from amongst the learners. We talk about great accounting principles and transformation into professional accountants, and suddenly we see that science students are becoming professional accountants more than commerce. You go to IIMs, IITs, and you look at who are the people who are actually doing research in finance, you will see that technocrats have overtaken those who are in commerce and management. So somewhere, it is high time that we understand what is this technology doing and what is this business opportunity that we are actually talking about. Now, when I'm talking about business opportunity, we have to redefine the conventional theories, the traditional theories, in terms of how they are being reworked with a technology backing. Very, very relevant for all those who study commerce and management. Keep your ears and eyes open into what we learn. Not that what we learn is irrelevant. What we learn is very relevant. But in the changing scenario, in the emerging technology era, how does this actually change? And I'll start from this. In my days, if somebody is going to ask me, what are the emerging business, would you like to start a business? Immediately, my mind gets bogged with some ideas like this. I don't have money. From where will I get money to buy land? I don't have that much of space. I don't have my buildings. I don't have my machinery. So factors of production, land, building, machinery, organization. I don't have all these things and therefore better keep quiet. Today there are businesses owned by millionaires where they do not have land. They might not have a building of their own. They might not have large-scale assets of their own, but they'll be owning businesses which are worth turnover in crores. What they have invested is in ideas which are backed by technology. So what is technology doing? Technology is breaking the barriers of space and time. You look at any form of business, I'll come to that a bit later in the course of my presentation. So somebody has an idea to do something. I want to be in the business of taxi service. I have my own aggregating business model, something like Uber or Ola, where I do not even own a single car, but have a multi-crore business with me. There are even micro enterprises in Calicut where somebody had an idea of giving good halwas to those who are in the Middle East, because the people from the Middle East preferred this halwa and they came to Calicut and they said, why don't you supply this? But this man was a very small business person who said, Middle East, exporting, large quantity, licenses, how do I do all these things? They created a halwa cluster, and without owning large scale land, there is a business model in a cluster approach where they sell to the Middle East. Again, there were a lot of people who were in the textile industry. They were into garment making, and for them, the ready-made shirts and ready-made garment industry like your Peter England, Alan Solly and all, this business that they were doing was only something like branding. The cutting, the stitching, the packing was all done by different people in different parts of the country. And lady entrepreneurs in Andhra Pradesh who did not own land, who did not have large money, who did not even have the transportation with them, they were doing it in large quantities under what is known as ALEAP, Association of Lady Entrepreneurs of Andhra Pradesh. So before I start, let me tell you, students, that it is not just looking at models, it is looking at opportunities and investing in ideas. So you have to keep your ears and eyes open into what is happening in terms of the emerging business field. And that emerging business field is not always in terms of, you have the number of cases in biotechnology, emerging businesses, where researchers actually try to transform the meat products in a genetically transformed mode. And for them, they didn't have money. Money came through crowd financing. So when you hear about crowd financing, when you hear about venture capital, when you hear about entrepreneurship, try to see that as business models which you can take forth. And space is not an important factor there. Earlier in my times, I used to say, suppose I'm going to start a business in Ernakulam. Where in Ernakulam? Who are my customers in Ernakulam or in Kerala? What time I will start, what time I will stop? These are all immaterial today. There are number of businessmen in Kerala today who do not have a single customer in the state. Their customers are in somewhere else. They do business from their homes. So small to big, emerging business opportunities do exist with the backup of technology. But we need to understand, what is that technology? How can I use it? Where do I actually apply this? That is what we are actually trying to look at. So at a time, it is an opportunity, but at the same time, it becomes very fast disruptive also. In the index of disruptiveness, if you look at disciplines, you will find accounting at the top. Because if you just look at accounting as journalizing, posting, balancing the process at a full in that form, then it is disruptive. Because today, what we want in accounting support is judgment, inference, rather than preparation. So that shift in skills and the shift in business is becoming very crucial as far as learners are concerned. That is the business that is unfolding before us. Your capability to invest in ideas. Your capability to understand opportunity. And if there is an opportunity, if you have an idea with you, you just open up that idea, tell the outside world that I have an idea and this is how I would like to get it through. You will see finance coming in. You will see the technology support coming in. Now in higher education, we are moving into 4-year UG program. There are a number of skill-embedded learning programs. Technology is just supplying us with number of models which can be used in higher education institutions. And they are doing it from across the world. including from this very city. So my appeal is you understand these opportunities, you keep your ears and eyes open onto that, and let us see how we move into it. So this is where we are actually trying to look at the changes. We are trying to look at a tech-driven model which will enable access. So access is not from your point to the nearest point and things like that. You find where the need is. The need might be in US, might be in South Africa, might be in some part of Asia, might be in Sri Lanka, and you might be doing something from them. So you give access using technology and using the support. And your market will be growing. You have a swift movement into that. I'll come to that a bit later. Then you have wide applications there, and you are continuously innovating on that, how it should grow. Even simple service models like pay and use toilets have had this kind of an application. So somewhere in the world, somebody feels that this is going to be successful. They invest in ideas, they use technology and transform that into a realistic form. Next one, yeah. So what are the features of this market that you have today? One side you say globalized, the other side you say localized. You say vocal for local. Our Honorable Prime Minister is now saying be vocal for local. So what is he trying to say? The market is very global, but you also need to think in terms of your local resources. What India has, what Kerala has, what South India has, what my village has. There are lots of people who are transforming in this model. So what is this global? You're trying to free movement of goods and services. But even when you're talking about free movement of goods and services, there is something like Brexit. There are people saying that, okay, our earlier model, we want to have separate and things like that. But basically, we're looking at free movement. But we're looking at global standards. You want to export. You just cannot export the way we want. You need to meet some standards. You want to have technology-driven models for an external market. You'll have to meet the standards which are prescribed over there. Even your accounting might have to be in terms of international standards, and if you want to go into a global market for sourcing funds and things like that. So global standards have to be met. And very important is your integrated financial market. I think Professor Thenmozhi would be a better expert on that. See, conventionally, when I was a student, I think the same perhaps in your textbooks you will also be learning. How are we learning the financial market? There is something called a money market. Am I right? And there is another market called the capital market. Then money market is the market for short-term funds. Capital market is the market for long-term funds. Players in the money market are who? Who are the players in the money market? Short-term funds, banks, financial. Players in the long-term market are stock exchanges. Now, is this correct? Suppose I take SBI. Where is it? Is it in the money market or is it in the capital market? They might be acting as a bank, but at the same time, they also have their DP, they have their mutual funds, they have their insurance. So they have a platform for stock trading. So they are almost everywhere. And when we talk about fintech, again technology, everything getting integrated. So you might have one account, one source, one platform for doing all these things. Perhaps even the concept of banks might die off. You might have only financial supermarkets, which will be doing all these things. So markets are becoming very integrated. The segments are perhaps losing relevance. And funds will keep flowing between or among the markets according to the way the market is becoming robust in one segment and becoming less relevant in the other segment and so on. So we are moving into that kind of a system. And we are also having information symmetry. Technology is making it in that form. Because if you have tech-driven products and service, you cannot have differentials in prices. People will buy online from a place where the price is low. And they will sell online at a place where the price is high. And markets tend to move towards equilibrium. So that also is something which becomes relevant in that context. So information becomes symmetrical. So these are some of the features which become very relevant in the market which is highly globalized. And again, you have electronic platforms, all electronic platforms for e-trade, e-finance, even e-HRM for that matter. Not just e-trading, you also have your recruitment, your procurement, everything will be driven by an e-platform. So there is perfect movement. I might be having a small business in Kerala, but the manpower might be coming from the best sources available in the world. I might be sourcing money from where it is the cheapest. I might be taking materials from a place where it is. This again does not mean that the theory of comparative advantage is irrelevant, but these are the changes which are actually happening. Large markets ultimately bringing down the cost. Your supply chain gets, it will shrink, and then your cost will come down. This again happens using technology. And as I already said, limitations of time and space is going down. That is going to happen in a big way in education. It is going to happen in health. It's going to happen in tourism, leave alone physical products. That means you will have the freedom to move. Your 4-year UG program, which is going to come up in the coming year in Kerala, is talking about 30% of the courses which you can take from wherever you want. You are a student in Bharat Mata College, you can say that I want to do one course from Thenmozhi Madam's Institute. So it is that freedom is there. And you can say that I don't want to study between 9:30 and 3:30. I want to study at midnight. That freedom is also there. So all kinds of systems are there. There are a number of counselors and psychiatrists in Thiruvananthapuram, in Cochin, who are now having their clients in the Middle East. They do it through online mode, and they're finding it to be more lucrative, more beneficial from both ends using the support of technology. So where your opportunity lies, you do not even know. There are a number, when I was visiting Bangalore, we saw there are a number of scholars in Indian Institute of Science who are doing a business models for people who are there in US and Canada. So they are just taking this as an opportunity using technology. They don't have large land or large space or large money investment. Through small models, using the support of technology, they have done that. Even creating e-content, writing case studies, preparing materials in different form, doing business process outsourcing. You have huge models emerging in this form. Limitations of time and space are not there. Only thing is, for these people, the scholars in IISCs, they have to wake up at 12 o'clock because some of their online programs is based on the time in the other nation from whom they are actually serving. Next one. Now, again, features, you are taking the best use of resources possible through the movement. I already said movement of inputs. I might have a Kerala-based entrepreneur who is using the managerial expertise of a person from some other part of the world where that person does not move to our state. He sits there and he does the support. So you can use those models, and on that model, perhaps you can even pay lesser and get the service better. So those options are there. Your global village, we already discussed that. Then you are looking at extensive opportunities, worldwide market, and sourcing inputs from wherever they are. So it is actually looking at the wide perspective that is there. So every module that you study, let it be BBA or BCom, when you finish that module, actually you have to stop and ponder. How does this happen? Where does this happen? What is its relevance now? What are the opportunities perhaps it will create in the context in which I learn and I understand what happens? That is why we are talking about having more and more case studies. I was told by your organizers that your final year students are going to present their project in the form of papers here. Do projects and do cases on real-time issues. Take problems which are live. Earlier, your online speaker, he was also talking about the same thing. Don't just see it as something which you're just doing and completing for the sake of a graduation. Your degree will anyway come. There's no problem in that. Try to see every small thing that you do in a real life context, be it security analysis, be it portfolio management, be it your management by objectives, or be it something in organizational behavior, or let it be something in hardcore financial services, leasing, factoring. Something happens in the real time. So you study and then relate, and you will find that there is an opportunity for you. Now, what is happening? Your globalization, people have now started talking about the reverse part of it. They are talking about local opportunities. They are talking about local resources. We are talking about local facilities and all. But that is also in the context of seeing how rich you are in what is, because it's like far becoming near and the near becoming far. Technology is actually making the far very near. See, even now in this hall, when I'm addressing you, some of you might be with your mobiles. And you will be sending a message to somebody maybe in US. That person will say, in the morning I had appam as breakfast. You will immediately pass a message, I had idli today. And you will be knowing what is happening with a person in US without knowing what is happening with a person sitting next to you. If the person sitting next to you faints, perhaps you might not be aware of that. You will be chatting in your mobile. Far has become very near and the near has become very far. So same thing in business models. You're looking at all the global things and you're trying to look, but we should not lose sight of what is there in our vicinity. Now we are talking about tourism models in Kerala. And there has been a huge inventory of tourism services considering the mountains, the mountain ranges that Kerala has, the 44 rivers that Kerala has, the coastal line that Kerala has, and this is not very well understood or internalized by the people even in Kerala. So they have lost sight of the near and they are always looking at the far. So we are not saying the earlier slides are irrelevant. They are all relevant. That is where the Honorable Prime Minister says, also be vocal for the local context in terms of your opportunity. And the previous, just a minute, 1 minute, a previous slide, we are also talking a bit about self-sufficiency and self-reliance. That is where technology has had its inroad. You must look at that very carefully. Say, for instance, Mahatma Gandhi said we should use Indian products, Indian charka, khadi, everything Indian. And we should stop importing foreign things. So we should be self-sufficient with what we had. So there were some models which looked like that. And there were some nations which were deficient in resources. India was fortunately one. See, remember when we talk about India becoming the most developed country in the world and all, there was a time when India was the most developed country of the world. It is not just becoming. At one point of time, we were very high in our education standards. We were very high in our economy. We were richest in many of our natural resources. So we could naturally think of self-sufficiency. We don't want to import. But there were some nations, what they did was, they did not have many resources. But they looked at a model called self-reliance. They imported whatever they wanted. They created value-added products and exported. Say, for example, we had a lot of cotton, we had a lot of jute, we had a lot of leather, and we exported cotton as cotton. The Britishers were very clever. They took away our cotton and they gave us textiles. So you exported for 10 crores and imported for 100 crores. So look at how they got benefited from it. So this is self-sufficiency with self-reliance. We had a lot of surplus resources, but we never had indigenous defense aircraft carriers, missiles and all. Now we have started manufacturing that also. So we need to have a perfect balance. When you are saying self-sufficiency, we need to have the adequate value addition using technology and thereby look at this transformation, which is relevant in terms of business opportunity. Next one, yeah. So the paradigm shift is self-sufficiency or self-reliance. We need to have a balance between that. Don't see that everything I have. I need not have everything. I can do business with many things which I do not have. But I have the idea to transform it. And with that transformation, I can buy from wherever it is available. I can create a value addition and use the technology to embark on a model which is transformative. That is what we are trying to bring about over here. Now, we will not discuss this at length because this is quite clear to you, all of you. The previous slide. This, when we are when we are talking about this, understand that it is in a way supportive. So say, for instance, when I'm saying e-commerce requires e-finance. It will be supported by e-services. It will be supported by the e-HR services. So it is all complementing one another. So suppose I have a platform for e-trading. But if you cannot transfer funds, then that e-trading might not sustain. Now, when I'm saying I'll say you can transfer from wherever you want. I'll transfer the fund in an electronic form. I'll do my transactions in the online mode. So e-finance, e-marketing, e-servicing, Many things happen in that online form, so they are all mutually complementing, and that whole business ambit is open before you. Not just for big products. It can happen even in very, very small products. There are shipbuilding industries, shipyards, which are manufacturing ships using thousands of parts and spares and ancillaries, out of which even one small part is a business opportunity. Somebody sitting in some part of the world says that I will do this for you. And that becomes a business opportunity. That is what is actually talked about there. Now, where do we locate now? This is a crucial question for all students. Where should I locate? Where do I locate? Where there is an opportunity or where there is raw materials. Earlier in your commerce classes, you learned comparative advantage. So should I locate near the source of the raw material? Should I locate near the source of the market? Should I take a mid-path? All these things are crucial. It depends, again, as you have studied in your theory, it depends upon the cost. Cost of transporting raw material to the place of production, cost of transporting the final product to the place of the market. So where should I actually locate? Or should I look for manpower available in plenty? You know, medical transcription, legal transcription happens in a big way in Info Park in Cochin, Techno Park in Thiruvananthapuram. That is only because manpower is available cheap. And the time difference. The medical industry in US will have their voice files, which at night will be sent to India through the net. And in India, the data voice file is transformed into data files. The cost that you incur on this transmission, creation of files, is relatively low when you look at the cost which has to be incurred in US. So where manpower is available, where the talent can be used, or where managerial skill will exist. So top managers are available here. So let me locate it here. Or manpower is available here. So where should I actually locate? Next one. Where do we locate? Look at this. We locate it at a place where you can invest in opportunities and ideas. So I'm just finding out where something is needed. And where perhaps something might be very much sought after in Europe, but the Europeans cannot do it at a cost at which we can do it. And I have a model through technology where I can transfer this. And that's what we do. So look at where people need what. Now, dentistry, in a big way, is becoming a model in Kerala for those who are in the US. They come here. And we are trying to link this with tourism, medical tourism, because these people come for dentistry or they come for Ayurveda. They should not just leave after that. When they get well, look at the other places in and around Kerala. Look at how you can transform your path. This we have not done. We have not integrated. Somebody comes on something, they'll do that and they'll just go back. So there are opportunities here where somebody can link up with these people and say, you have finished your dentistry, you have finished your Ayurveda, now why not look at this? Anyway, you're in India or you're in Kerala for say 1 week, 2 weeks. So this is how you open up. This is the business support that you can give. And this reach out comes through technology. Your initial booking, your initial placing, your initial exposure that you give, all comes through technology. So these are the models that you have. Now, next one. What is the implication? This does not mean that the theory of comparative advantage is immaterial. I'm not trying to say that the theories which we have studied are basically irrelevant. They have relevance, but in a transformative form. That means technology has given it a new mode. Technology has given it a new face. Technology has given it a new thought. And that is where we are trying to link up into this. Next one. Now, search for an opportunity, inputs are mobile. There was, if you look at the history of how genetically created meat is coming up in a big way. You know, we are slaughtering goats and chicken for meat. Now, we are going to get genetically modified good chicken, good mutton. You can get beef or whatever you want without killing an animal. It's happening in a big way on research from India. Now, it has not become very popular. Research is still going on that because of the price difference. Maybe 1 kilogram of chicken might be costing around maybe 300 or 250, something like that. But currently, this modified form will cost something like 2,000. But further research on that, with support from a lot of supportive agencies, not the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur does not have his finance. He has his idea. He has set up his lab linkages, and a lot of money is coming up. We will invest this much in this. We will invest this much. People are coming up. And they want to see that this becomes a reality. And once it becomes a reality, it's a new model which is going to be driven by technology. So we have inputs which can come in different forms. You can, if you have a good content, if you have a good thought-based product, even from a student, you know, Young Innovators program is saying you just give an idea. That idea, whether that idea is feasible or not, we will support you. For the idea itself, you can get 2 lakh rupees. So we need to have a feasible idea coming up. Those ideas, you have 10 ideas, maybe one is workable. They get transformed into possibility for making them into a business. And there is an inventory on what we are looking at in terms of those ideas, investable ideas. So you people can do many things on that count. And you are very robust in that thought. Only thing is, don't look at a text material as merely something for the examination. I'm going to read this by heart, understand this, and write it back in the examination. I'll get my marks. Try to see what about this happens in the real world. When we are talking about wealth maximization, when you talk about retail investors, when you talk about high net worth investors, when you talk about dematerialization, when you talk about mutual funds, or even in marketing, customization. Excellent examples of customization is happening in the service sector today. That is where I talked about tourism, transportation, healthcare. Healthcare in a big way. New models are coming up where people have ideas on how to reach. There might be a very good medical practitioner in some part of the state whose services are perhaps confined to a village. And there might be somebody who realizes that this person's expertise can be put into a global context. He can relate that and make it a kind of a joint venture with this person and put it into context. So it is up to you to look at it. That is where your entrepreneurship should come. That is where emerging businesses should come. And that should come from people who actually learn this. Unfortunately, let me tell you, in our university, you'll have that experience across. We have incubation centers, business incubation centers, where startups are created by students. What we have understood is the majority of the startups are created by students who have not studied entrepreneurship. Those who have studied have not. Many of them from engineers, from computer science, they have done that. This is not because we are not interested, because we are not quite conversant with the techno or the technology part of it, whether it is a service or a product. And we go on learning the models of entrepreneurship without understanding the tech support. It is not necessary that we know hardcore applications, but we should know who knows. It's not important that you know, but as an entrepreneur, you should know who knows and get those people together and book on this. So these things can move. Just the previous slide, once again. All these things can move. Funds can come from where it is cheap. But you look at something, let me just put it in perspective. Suppose I am starting something like what we call street vending. I'm a very ordinary person. I want to start something like a Thrikkakara somewhere down the highway. Now I want, say, 25,000 rupees. What will be my cost of capital? Also look at Yusuf Ali. He wants to start a big shopping mall in some part of the country. And he needs 500 crores, whereas I need only 25,000. Whom do you think will have a higher cost of capital? Will Yusuf Ali be paying a higher cost, or will I, as a local person who wants to start a small Thrikkakara for 25,000 rupees, the chance is that I will be having to pay a higher cost. The reason is I'm less organized. I want to have a GDR, I want to have an ADR, I want to go to the global market. Where is your international financial reporting standards? Where is your KYC? So all these things will come. But once you get organized, right from your small level, with a registration and things like that, when you scale up, that's where I gave you the example of a cluster. The single halwa vendor was not able to do that. But when they came together and formed a cluster, they got their system, then they can look at from where funds will come, from where technology will come, how raw materials can be procured together. So this is what we are trying to look at. We can get that. You can get the best managed, you can get the best systems, you can look for the best technology. Otherwise, perhaps in my small scale or in my small level at which I trade, this might not be possible. So there is an opportunity for you to scale up with people who think similar, who have similar ideas, who have a similar wavelength at which they actually operate. That is what is actually taught. Now you locate yourself where there is an opportunity and look at that in that pot. Now what are your opportunities? Look at this. You might not be doing, earlier it was like, if I want to start a business, I buy land, I locate a building, I purchase machinery, then I buy raw materials, then I do the production, then I do the assembling, then I do the sales, then I do the after sales operation, right from scratch to the after sales, everything I do on my own. This need not be that's what the examples that I gave. When you're saying you're buying a Peter England shirt or Alan Solly shirt, they are not doing the cutting. They are not doing the stitching. They are not doing the collar part of it. They are not doing the packing. It's all done by different agencies. So in that chain, it may be shipbuilding, it may be making of air conditioners, making of washing machines or whatever. In this chain, somewhere right from the production to the after sales service, you can be a party to it. You might be just creating an ad. You might be just designing a logo. You might be just doing the animation part of it. Or you might be just supplying a screw. Or you might be just supplying a spare part. Or you might be just doing an agency service. Or you might be just doing a support service in some form. So all these are opportunities. Service providers, agents, franchisees, assemblers, promoters, and all of them use the technology support. And all of them is enabled using technology support. The agency service which I can do today is not just an agency service for somebody who's based on time and space. I will be doing this for somebody who's located somewhere. I will be doing it in an online mode. I'll be using a technology platform. I might use an e-commerce base. But then what I can do where is very, very important. Teachers, even higher education institutions, earlier when I joined a college, I said I started in Bharata College, 89. I was under the impression, that is where we call our bias. This bias is, that is what I'll talk towards the end. My belief was, who are my students who sit before me in the classroom? And what is the type of students? They are captive students. These students have only one teacher, that is me. Whatever I say they will get, they cannot go anywhere. They are admitted to Bharat Mata College. They are confined to time. They are confined to space, 9:30 to 3:30. Some hours I will take, that's all. Both for the learner and the teacher, opportunities have changed. That is where technology has come. Today I can have teaching across the globe. I can design innovative courses and make it available on the Swayam or the MOOC platform. People can get enrolled from wherever they are. Your Tenmuri Madam's IIT have got, lakhs of students in data analytics and all across the globe. So I can have students from wherever I want. Students can learn from different people other than me. So what I'm trying to put across here is all these models I have with me. I can think, I can be a party to that. I might not be designing a full course. I might be only creating the content, or I might be only giving an ad for it, or I might be only a party in just reviewing something. So just like that, in the business also, you have all these opportunities. You can become enablers, you can become partners, you can become total solution providers, you can become tech builders, you can become outsourced service providers. So in what your opportunity, what is important here, remember that your opportunity is not in creating a full-scale product and marketing it and delivering it and doing after-sales service. You can become a part of what somebody else is doing. So you can leverage out of what others are doing. Something happening in the fashion industry, something happening in the health industry. Somewhere there could be a space for us. And that space need not essentially be a small space. It can become a larger space where you can build upon yourself. The elite model that I was discussing with you, the lady entrepreneurs need not think about raw materials. you have to only inform Peter England and Ellen Soley how much of shirt pieces you can stitch per day. If you say 2,000, they will deliver materials for 2,000. If you're saying, no, we can do 4,000, they will deliver materials for 4,000. You need not think about transportation. When you finish, you give the call, final, their vehicle will come and they will collect it. You need not think about marketing. So look at how a business model is existing. Look at how a business model can scale, but you need an entrepreneur to think about this model. Even land and space is not theirs. That is done by the park, the industrial park for lady entrepreneurs. This is a model where we took our students and showed them how it actually works in Hyderabad. So all these opportunities are there. Then what then is the opportunity? Scan the environment. That is where your seminar should be proactive. That is why I keep telling all the organizers of seminars, some theme was shared, some thoughts were given, some new ideas were shared. What happened after that? Is there anyone who actually scanned their environment? Look at the opportunities in and around you. For you, it is very easy when compared to what I did in my time. Because for us, it was at that time reading, library, materials. Today, it's all online for you. Just search, Google search or whatever. Whatever opportunities exist in different models, even your emerging tech-driven models, you just give a search, you'll find it. Then you want to know tech-driven model in healthcare, you will see many things. Tech-driven model in shipping, in aircraft, whatever. You get number of models. Not everything will gel with everybody, but try to see whether you have a space there. So scanning the environment is so very important. Identify the service or product in need. What is in need today might not be in need tomorrow. When COVID came, many things became very necessary. That's what I've given at the last part, how people actually tried to look at it. So the value chain, suddenly something has become very important. Suddenly some people need many things which was not considered to be very relevant at one point of time. You know, some business, I'll give you one or two models which have just started in the last 2 years based on technology. The number of people who are moving out of Kerala today is very high. And many of these families have properties in Kerala. Either their homes are lying here, or some of them even have their aged parents here. There is a business startup now which is saying that we will take care of your property, we will take care of the aged people over here for a number of families together. That is selling well. So somebody found that this is a need. This is a need. Today it's a need. So that need is getting transformed. The pattern with which people save. Earlier, our concept was you save in a big way for your family members, for your children. And there were also people who tried to save for 3 or 4 generations together. And suddenly they realized that the children don't need your money. Now what do you do with this? So let us also invest in health. Let us also invest in happiness. So these concepts have become more, and that is how it gets related to tourism and the need-based house. So what is actually necessary, or what people see as necessity at a particular point of time becomes so relevant in that context. Now, make it part of their value chain. So you understand the value chain of different products and services. Who are the people involved? Where does it start? How does it grow? What point it does? And you see whether I can be a part of it. That's all. Somebody is producing something, somebody is selling something, there is something in demand somewhere. Can I be a part of it? Perhaps at times, you cannot create a model to compete with them because your player, your competitor is very large. But even then, you can be a part of that. Instead of competing, let me align. So that is also possible. So scan, look at the need, and look at the value chain, and try to see the value chain need to delivery where you can be a part of it. Somewhere there's a need, somewhere there's a delivery, in between where you can be a party to it. And this is what I've tried to bring, how you reduce this actually. Need at one end, then you start producing, then you start assembling, then you do your after-sales service, and ultimately you're addressing that need. And success is only the ability to meet a given, identified, well-established need. That if you can do, it is very much possible via outreach. So technology today has brought your reach to be so far. Even now in your conference, many people across the world can attend this. They can also learn from this. They can also try and understand whether it is meaningful in a particular context. Next one. Now, how did this happen? I already said limitations of time. Technology, more specifically IT-enabled services, has made this possible. The link is actually there. Somewhere you can find a link. You can find a partner somewhere. You can find a platform somewhere. You can find a digital mode of transfer somewhere. You can find a digital mode of access somewhere. So all this is made possible. And today, this free flow takes place. That is where we are talking about tech-enabled era. And then this technology part, if it is not well utilized, some of the things that you do becomes meaningless also. Suppose, that's why I said bias at the beginning. You know, we were discussing this with the director of Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences. So he was saying how conventional surgeons considered it with bias when keyhole surgery first came. They were saying this is all nonsense. Surgery means cut open the body. Brain surgery, you have to cut open your head. Heart surgery, cut open your body. And then you see through the body. That was how the conventional operation theaters were designed. Used to have large theater beds. Patient will lie on that. All your instruments were used for cutting open the body, whatever part of the body it is. And then you have big lights looking at that injured part and then making the correction. And then suddenly somebody says, there is something like a concept called keyhole surgery. Technology. New technology has come. Keyhole surgery. Wound is very small. A small incision is made and you insert equipment into that. Nobody is looking at the injured part. They look at the screen. Operation is done. Now most of the surgeries, they look at the screen. Microscopic view. They see the damaged or the ailing part in a huge size. This instrument goes into it and does the correction and come out. Doctors could not believe. I'm talking about traditional doctors could not believe. When we said that IT model MOOC course can be done, I could not believe. I said it's all wrong. How can we have a classroom where there's no face-to-face contact? This is some of the biases which we need to actually overcome. So when we learn, there are theories which are saying all these things, but there are new technology which says something else can also happen. So we need to be a bit, above, or we need to overcome the obstacles and hindrances which these biases will put forward. And we need to grow beyond that. That's what we have to actually look at. So the electronic form is actually giving, the last part is, the electronic route creates emerging models. And that is where we have to see, I need not have all these things. Many things I can do from wherever I am. Lot of PC. One more example I can give in my own sector. The other day, we were going to, in your district itself, one of the colleges. And we were being introduced to the teachers. So normally, it was a self-financing institution. And there was a problem with salary with self-financing institution, which all of you know, they are not getting the same pay at par with the aided sector. And immediately the college principal was introducing one teacher and telling us that this teacher is earning more than what a professor in an aided institution earns. And you know what she was doing? She had an expertise and command over the subject that she was doing, and she was creating e-content and delivering it. That's where we understand it. She was not having any, tagged kind of designation, like something which I'm saying, I'm a professor and head and things like that. But she had a knowledge, she had an idea, she had invested in that, and she looked at opportunities around, and she scaled up. So those models are things which we are actually talking about. Now, from your startup to your multinational corporations, small startups to multinational corporations, can all happen using your business model. Nobody thought that your Google Pay would be something that is going to be used by street vendors, even beggars. In a petrol pump, when we were having our vehicle filled with petrol, somebody came, we said we have no change, he showed the QR code, you can transfer money. So even they have started using digital technology, which means on the streets, you can have technology-based business models. Down on the street, if a person has an idea, they can transform it. And there are people who have done that. You can look at any number of examples. Several examples I have now quoted. So you can have that. It's not that only multinational corporations can use technology. Technology has become so accessible, so close, so approachable today that you can all use it in the form in which it is. So the resource base is all, not all that you need to have, but knowing where they are and using them is both. Just like leadership. What is leadership? Leadership means using the talent pool that you have around. I need not be talented. Suppose I'm saying a good vice chancellor or a good prime minister or a good president or a good CEO. He might not know everything, but he should know who are the people who know the right things and put them together. That is leadership. Just like that, your entrepreneurship, you might not know all the latest technology, but you should know that there is an opportunity like this. Using this opportunity, you can do like that. So you need not know everything, but you should know what all things are available and how these things can be best used. So understanding the resource base and converting them into projects. So ideas to workable projects. Ideas come from what is necessary, what people need, where that need exists, who is that community which has that need, and how do I reach out to that. That is basically emerging business opportunities that you have in your context. Next one. So what is the whole thing that we do? We invest in models, innovation, and knowledge. We are going to invest over there. And that is what education is doing. That is what your BCom is doing. That is what your MBA is doing or your BBA is doing. People are investing in ideas, in helping you in that. So every module, every input that you are actually receiving is actually an input to transform it into a model. But unfortunately, we don't. You're given it in multiple facets, but we are not able to understand how effectively that can be transferred. So we have to actually invest in that. So you need not have all these things always. This is where I started from. Don't think that I don't have large stretches of land, I don't have large stretches of huge capital. I'm not saying that it is not at all necessary. It is necessary, but there are models where with limitations in that, technology will enable you to overcome that. And then maybe there will be somebody to finance, there will be somebody to support with other, there is something which you can do with a lesser land space. So those things are possible. There could be service models which will replicate. Not that you can do business without cash. That is not what I'm trying to put across over here. Now finance flows to such models. When you have that models, finance will flow with that model with where you're saying feasibility. You are telling somebody that my idea is feasible. My idea is workable. I can create meat without killing an animal. I can create a huge business aggregator for taxi services without owning a car. So I'm talking about its feasibility. Then I'm talking about its sustainability. What is its sustainability? You have done something. Earlier there was a reference to climate change and all. If you are going to damage climate, if you're going to damage a next generation, if you're going to damage society, or if you're going to damage some segment in the society, then at some point of time your business is not sustainable. So I must talk about the model in which what I'm giving as an output is acceptable to the subsequent system and it is not damaging. It might be simple, but it is not damaging. So it's sustainable. And again, I'm talking about its stability, and it is well-knit. It is a well-knit value chain for me. So that's how I'm actually trying to rely. I'm not trying to, force something where I'm saying that immediately I'll enter and reap in and I'm not going to be bothered about what it actually creates in the long-term impact. So we are looking at whether it is, of course, through my value concept, what is the wealth maximization it can create. My idea, how that can get transformed into a wealth maximization model. Then next one. And I'm looking at this process, that's all. That means, very simple, all of us know this. You take some whatever, let it be a service industry or manufacturing industry or school or college or hospital or whatever. You take input, you do some process, you give an output. What output is Bharat Mata College giving? Graduates. What are your department doing? BCom, BBA, you're giving as graduates. Now, this output or outcome should recycle. It must get transformed. Which are the best institutes which will survive, where they are saying that what we give is acceptable to the next system. IITs and IIMs are creating graduates. Day one, they complete their program, they become acceptable to the industry. output is acceptable to the next system. So your product, your service, your idea must sell in terms of what it actually gives out and how that becomes acceptable to the next system. This should recycle. And we do it through what you call environment threat opportunity profile. You look at technology, you look at new technology is coming up. We are saying CNG vehicle, or you're saying electric vehicle. Now, I'm a vehicle manufacturer, or I'm supplying a spare part to the vehicle manufacturing, which is using conventional diesel. Electric vehicle is coming. Is it a threat? At what level is it a threat? Or is it an opportunity? What level it is an opportunity? I must keep my ears. I cannot stop outside changes from coming. Vehicles might get replaced with electric vehicles. Battery forms might change. New laws might come. New intellectual property regulations might come out. All these things will come up. If you are doing something which is not compatible with the same, how do you transform? That is what we do through this particular process in terms of social and other aspects of it. Now, what is the final inference? The key is you're scanning and understanding the environment and changing operations, because you can't change what is outside. It will change. You can't stop technology from changing. You can't stop new laws from coming. You can't stop global systems from happening. You cannot even stop certain things like COVID from happening. You cannot even prevent some disasters at some point of time. As an exigency, it might happen. So what can you do? You can change yourself. You can adapt. You can adopt. You can look in terms of what is demanding at a particular point of time and do that accordingly. That is the only thing that we can do. So yeah, next one. So that's where I would like to stop. Just concluding with the simple fact, all that we have been listening to is numerous opportunities are unfolding before you. Small, big, tiny, micro, large, multiple opportunities are there. How effectively you transform yourself by keeping your ears and eyes open, by understanding the technologies that support it, by looking at the knowledge concept in terms of realities that happen around you, modifying yourself, taking advantage of yourself. Thanks for this opportunity. I wish you all a wonderful learning opportunity, and hopefully you will see some, at least a couple of you, I'm not saying all, after listening to this, when you are in your classes on entrepreneurship, some form of change which might come from your side. Thank you. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so much. Do we have time for questions or something like that? Or we'll take at the end? What is that? What is your... Now, okay. So anybody wants to, because this is very basic things which I have put across. I don't know how much of questions it will actually bring forth, but in case anybody wants to interact either now or even subsequently through my email, you can do that. Anything which anybody wants to put across, you can do. Maybe you have 5 minutes. How much? What time? Now it is 12:30, I think, right? Yeah. Anybody wants to raise or suggest or critically add on? It need not be suggest. You will have wonderful ideas more than what was put across. Anything which anybody wants to put across, you can do that now. Otherwise, we will conclude by hoping that something positive will happen on this count. Okay, so can I believe that there's no questions? Shall we conclude? Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful session. To spell out the words of thanks and gratitude, I now invite joint convener of this conference, Assistant Professor Nevin Manadan, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, sir. I had a very detailed and sophisticated thank you note for you. I'm teaching English here, and I'm supposed to be a dummy as far as finance is concerned. And I found the talk very interesting in the sense I was able to understand. Even though I didn't do commerce in my school or graduation or post-graduation, it was pretty simple for me and actually pretty enlightening. And on behalf of Bharat Mata College Thrikkakara, I extend my sincerest appreciation and gratitude for your talk. And you explained the basics for me in the sense, and that's my personal takeaway, in the sense I understood the necessity of organizing businesses, even if it's in the small scale, and how success is actually catering to a well-established need. So thank you for everything, and I personally would like to enter the education, edutainment industry after a specific point of time. And what you said about the professor who was actually doing MOOC courses, those small incidents that you put into your talk, into your lecture, that could actually gain traction in many of the people present here. And over a period of time, you never know what could happen. So thank you for your lecture. Thank you for the effort that you put in. Thank you for everything. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Head of the Department, Assistant Professor Ansi Anthony, to present our Chief Guest of the Day, Gabriel Simon, sir, with a memento as an expression of our gratitude. Thank you, sir. Our morning session has come to an end. Now we will have a lunch break. Before we